What's up, everyone? I hope you're doing well today. This is Raphael Garcia here on Monday, December 16th, 2019, and I'm here to talk to you about the 2019 edition of WWE TLC. This pay-per-view occurred last night on the 15th, but I did not get a chance to watch it until late Sunday. So here's my review, talks about the show, and just some thoughts. So we're going to jump into that conversation, but before I always do, thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. You can always find my content at rgarcia_sports on Twitter, where I usually promote most of my work. And you can also catch me at MMARatingsNet on Instagram and Twitter. And then also MMARatings.net, the website where I cover mixed martial arts, where we have this podcast and also the Thursday night MMA Ratings podcast, and always MMA Ratings on YouTube for this show and our Thursday night show with Shawan Hume. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. I appreciate your support. Please continue to like and share our content, spread it across the web. Let's get some more followers in. We are at 115 so far, and I'm developing some interesting goals for 2020. So we need everyone to give us a follow, give us some support, and hopefully we will build towards those numbers. So let's go ahead and talk about tonight's show, where we got quite a bit to talk about today. So it was a pretty interesting show for a number of reasons. And when I say interesting, it doesn't necessarily mean bad. It doesn't necessarily mean good. But there's just a couple of different things I want to talk about from what happened. So let's go ahead and jump into the shows, or the matches. I missed the Humberto Carrillo and Andrade match from this morning, but Andrade took the L again. And this is unfortunate because Andrade was being booked so strong on Raw since being drafted over to that brand, but he took another loss, and this one, they're continuing that narrative that him and Zelina are having problems, and I hope, man, we all knew they were going to break them up at some point in time, and we knew that they were going to elevate Zelina just because she has the total package. She has looks, she has mic skills, and she can go in the ring. But it's just unfortunate that they haven't done it at a point in time after they've had a dominant run together. This duo could easily be a main event act, but they've been, I don't even want to say pigeonholed, because like I said, he's been well protected, but in this development where he's continuously losing to Humberto just doesn't do it for me, especially for the fact that I have no interest in Humberto. He is a good wrestler, fantastic wrestler. He has a look to him, but he just doesn't get it done in the ring, or not necessarily he doesn't get it done in the ring. They haven't done anything that makes me interested in him in the ring. So yeah, he's there, and it is what it is. I'm just not interested in watching him compete, watching him be the champion or be the top contender at this point in time, or even be on a run right now. I'm sure they could find some value in him and doing some different things, but right now this just isn't it for me. And I would like to see something different, because right now I'm just not the biggest fan of what he's doing in the ring and what they're doing with him as a character. So seeing him get another win over Andrade, it makes me worried about what they're going to do with Andrade and Zelina. Especially they split them apart because they don't do much with the women's division outside of the Four Horsewomen. We've talked about this in the past. I've written about this in the past. Outside of the Four Horsewomen, they don't do much with those ladies. Even though we're going to talk about the main event today, there was only one women's match on this card. One. You can say what you want about the women's revolution, but it's over. It's over. It's been over. There won't be an evolution this year. There's no telling if there will be one next year. One match on a pay-per-view. It was the longest match, in my opinion. It was one of the better ones, not the best, but it was one of the longer ones. But still, there's nothing worth that. You can't build a whole. They have so many different talented women's wrestlers on their roster. that they continue to overlook. And you mean to tell me that they break up with Zelina and Andrade, that they're going to do something different with her? You mean to tell me they're going to do something different with Andrade? How are they going to make him a star with? He already has the, what's the word? He already has the makings to be a star on the WWE roster, but they're just not taking the right path with him. And this right here ain't it. Humberto ain't the man to get his shine off of Andrade. It should be the other way around. But they got Andrade out here taking L's in the pre-show, so it is what it is. That brings us to the first match of the day, which, in my opinion, the first match of the pay-per-view, second match of the showcase, either this or the Aleister Black Buddy Murphy match were the best of the night. But the New Day defeated the Revival to keep the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. I was surprised. I just knew that they were going to put the belts back on the Revival. This is the second time I've been wrong about what they're doing with the New Day in the last two pay-per-views. But, it is what it is. We can always be wrong here. No one really cares. But this was an exceptional match. My boy Kofi Kingston out there showing out, letting everybody know, hey, I should still be WWE champion or whatever it is. Dude out there tearing it the fuck up. And he's doing it in a way that's hilarious to me because here we have another pay-per-view without the World Championship on there. Brock Lesnar is doing Brock Lesnar shit. And people complained when Kofi was champion. And now we're at a point where the belt isn't there. And people look foolish because of what's going on with Kofi. He's just continuing to show out. WWE's acting like they forgot about him. And they barely mentioned his championship reign. They've been doing it a little bit more lately. But him and Big E showed the fuck out in this match. Revival did as well. There's a couple of spots I want to talk about. So the first one is when they tried to throw Kofi. They tried to Irish whip him into the ladder. And he jumps over it back into the ring. Then tries to baseball slide the ladder into the Revival. But they pick it up, slam on his back. He slides out. Then he gets into a position he jumps over them again. Jumps off of the apron he does a splash onto the ladder while the Revival's holding it and it smashes them in the face. I mean, there was some great offense in this match on both sides. I also noticed that they used the teeter-totter spot from a while back. And if you remember, this is the same spot that cut open Joey Mercury. He almost lost his eye years ago. I mean, that was a long time ago. It was Eminem, him and John Hennigan, Johnny Nitro, whatever, John Morrison, whatever the hell his name is now. But he got cut badly when the ladder hit him in the face. They redid that spot last night, and obviously there was no injuries or anything like that. But that was the first thing I thought of. It harkened back to that moment years ago. But the beginning off the ladder was huge. The New Day retained, and I am glad that they're still doing something with the New Day. In my opinion, they are the best act in WWE right now. Their podcast every week. If you don't listen to it, take the time to listen to it. It's hilarious. It's very good from start to finish. They're out there tearing it up. And I liked what the Revival did as well too. I mean, I'm fans of theirs too. We know they can go. We know that it's almost a given that these two teams are going to go out there and tear the show up, because that's exactly what the hell they do. Add the Usos in there, they're going to tear the show up as well too. The Viking Raiders can go, the OC can go, undisputed. I mean, there's so many great tag teams in the WWE. That's almost, you can mix and match and shuffle them around, and you're going to get some great matches. And this is no different. They went for 19 minutes and 20 seconds. Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy, these two tore the fuck up too. That's why it's hard to pick which one is the best match out of the evening. It's one of these two. And Black and Murphy, I mean, they got into it right out the gate. I liked how they set up the match with them both doing the Aleister Black spot where he's sitting cross-legged in the middle of the ring. You could feel the intensity once they stood up. The thing that interests me the most is that Buddy Murphy isn't that much smaller than Aleister Black. That curiously got me look. Let me see their size difference. Let me see real quick. Because he did not look that much smaller than Black at all. So Murphy's listed at 5'11", 227. And Black is listed at 6'1", 215. So that's, I mean, what? An inch, 2 inches for Black and 10 pounds, 12 pounds for Murphy. So it looked good. That visual of them standing in the ring together, staring at each other, looked really good. And I love this match with some hard hitting strikes too. Like, and then I think that's different. As always, we don't really talk about them too much, but we have so many different styles of matches, and seeing these two guys going out there throwing some ridiculous ass strikes looked good. It got me excited. There were a few different spots that got me hyped. I think Black got a broken nose at some point in time. I didn't see exactly when it happened. Jerry Lawler was talking about it quite a bit, and there was blood all over Murphy. There was blood in the ring, and you can tell from his face that he was his nose was busted up too. He was breathing from his mouth, which also is a sign of having your nose broken as well. If you are a fan of MMA and you've ever watched any fights where someone has their nose broken, you know the minute they start blowing through their nose, their eyes swell shut. Thankfully, we didn't see any of that on Sunday, but Black definitely had his nose busted open because he was bleeding all over the place. And that built the intensity of this match. It built the heat of this match. Like I said, these two guys were going at it. They were throwing some ridiculous strikes, trying to beat the hell out of each other, and it showed from start to finish. At the end of the day, it would be Aleister Black winning with the black mask. And that ending sequence, I hope somebody makes a GIF out of that because that needs to be shared across all social media. Black went into his strike series that he tries to use, and Murphy countered with his own. And he uses, he does the foot stomp and the kick to the stomach, and he missed the strike after that, which Black countered with the black mask, knocked him smooth out. He sold that like $1 million, goes down 1, 2, 3. And the only thing, this is a great match. But my question is, come Friday, Monday, whatever show they're on, are we going to see these two guys again? Or are we going to go right back to the backstage segments with Aleister Black asking someone to fight him when he's just sitting around chilling and Murphy not being on TV? If that happens, what are they doing? They have two guys that consistently show them that, hey, we can go all day, we can go with anyone, we can go with each other. Make this a best 2 out of 3. I would love to let these two guys go and have a best 2 out of 3 series for an Intercontinental title shot, U.S. Championship shot, or U.S. title, whatever it may be, because they can keep proving to us that they can go. Why am I now concerned that they won't be on TV this week? Because that's exactly what they do. It's almost as we don't have anything to do for you guys. You can go out there, you can put out great matches, but we don't have anything to do. We don't have anything to do with you, so we're just going to put you back in the box, and we'll play with you some other time. It's unfortunate, but this was easily one of the better matches of the night. They went for 13 minutes and 45 seconds. That brings me to the Viking Raiders against the OC. I mean, I wasn't too excited about this match here. They brought the Viking Raiders out. They had an open challenge. The OC comes out with their best tag team in the world trophy. And that's immediately when I stopped paying attention. It's not a knock against the OC. It's not a knock against the Viking Raiders. I like both of these teams. Both of these teams are among some of the best teams that I mentioned earlier. They can go. But I am not a fan of what they are. I'm not a fan of this pairing. Because they've been going at it for a while, since before the last Saudi Arabia trip. They've been going at it. And we know that they can put on some great matches together. We know that they can be hard-hitting together. But I feel like there aren't any stakes. There isn't anything that makes me want to watch this match. Of course, they're fighting over the tag team titles. But, I just couldn't get into it. And the ending didn't help. Double count out. I think they've already done this one time with these teams, or a double DQ. Something along those lines. The fans chanted bullshit. No one really cared. And if you want to talk about not caring. The next match, where Baron Corbin against Roman Reigns, no. 22 minutes of and this is almost paint by numbers, wash, rinse, repeat type of match here between these two guys here. You have, it was just, they were just brawling from start to finish. And that'll tie into the end. We'll talk about that in a second. But they're brawling from start to finish. Dolph Ziggler comes out. The Revival comes out. Security guards come out. It's almost like 6-on-1 by the time it's over. Corbin pins Roman. It's a no DQ match. So it was just bad. I mean, it was so bad that the crowd was like dead silent. There, no booing, no nothing. And I don't care what you say about Baron Corbin being the best heel in the building or the best heel in the industry today. He's not. And you can tell that simply by the crowd was just literally sitting there not making a sound. I mean, that's just a testament to how unpopular, maybe is the word, that Baron Corbin is. And what sucks is he's so good in the ring. He's good. His match, if you broke it down move by move, what he's doing in the ring is great. I love the fact that he steals the big boss man's moves. I love the fact that that's kind of how he plays them together. The deep six always looks awesome. He has the best finisher in the game or in WWE today. There's nothing you can say about his in-ring work that is bad, in my opinion. But his character, I mean, again, makes me want to turn off the TV. Makes me want to turn off the TV more than a lot of other characters I see in WWE or in other shows. I'm sorry, it just doesn't do it for me. And this crowd sitting on their hands at the end of this 22-minute match really proved that to me. Same thing with including Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler could be doing something else. Send him to NXT to have great matches down there. Send him somewhere, like he could be doing something else where people are able to build themselves on him, kind of like the way they did with Shawn Michaels years ago. We know Dolph can go. We know he can deliver good matches when he's invested. I don't know if he's invested right now, and I'm not saying that kind of as a knock on him, but what are they doing? What are they doing with him? Then you have Bray Wyatt and The Miz, and they have a 6-minute match, singles match, that's not for the WWE title. And this match was interesting to me because I was curious to see what they were going to do with Bray Wyatt. Notice it's Bray and not The Fiend versus The Miz, and they used that to be the story behind this match. His interesting was different, came out, no, not the dark music, no head lantern, no fog, etc., etc. He came out to the Firefly Funhouse theme song, and he just looked like Mr. Rogers, coming out there, playing to the crowd. I think he even high-fived some fans on the way down. And as he's in character, he's trying to get The Miz to calm down. The Miz is beating the shit out of him. He's trying to get The Miz to calm down. And Miz is just like not letting him get up, get away, and he's just beating him from pillar to post until Bray starts to succumb to The Fiend. And it's great that you hear the fans chanting, "Let him in, let him in, let him in," which is perfect. And he started to feed off of that. Then he goes, and then he just basically beats the shit out of Miz for 2 minutes before pinning him. But the "let him in" chants, this guy's so over. There's a video of his entrance going on around online that you can catch that just shows that he's just super over, and there's no denying that. So he wins the match, and then Daniel Bryan comes back. And I was so hoping for Daniel Bryan to come back as like his underling and attack The Miz. But instead he came back with the short hair. He looked like he's back at the back to being the American Dragon just from like physical looks. But he was doing the yes chants and all that stuff, the yes kicks. And he attacks Bray for a couple seconds before the lights go out, like the Fiend appearance usually starts, and Bray Wyatt disappears. So I'm not there. I have some concerns about this because if you saw, there was no reaction to Daniel Bryan after he started attacking Bray. He played like he was going to hit him with the sledgehammer. It didn't happen. No one seemed overly excited about that. Then he made it like he was going to hit the WWE Universal title with the sledgehammer. Obviously, he didn't, but it didn't. It seemed like the fans were waiting for something else, and that something else never came. Yeah, he has that look back. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Bryan is one of the better wrestlers of the decade. There's that conversation that's going on all across wrestling pundits. Who's the wrestler of the decade? And I think Daniel Bryan should be considered in that conversation. But this return here, there are a lot of people saying that this return should have main evented the show. I do not agree. I like the main event that they had, but it didn't make me excited for what's next. Like, what's to come after this? I didn't get hyped up for that, and I think that's concerning to me, at least right now, and it should be concerning to everybody else. But Daniel Bryan's been known, like, he makes wine out of water, or whatever the hell the saying is, that he just continues to kind of deliver over on SmackDown. So I'm not too concerned about that, but the lack of big fan reaction towards the end of this made me kind of stood out to me. Then we had the match everyone was waiting for: Bobby Lashley versus Lana, Bobby Lashley with Lana versus Rusev. And yeah, another match I did not pay any attention to because I refused to really give this storyline too much of my time. It was on, but I couldn't give two shits less about what was going on in this match. There was, I think Sean Ross Sapp was tweeting out about one spot where Lashley leaps over the table he goes from the apron to the ring, leaps over the table. Okay, cool. I might go back and see that video clip somewhere, but these two I don't care for, and it sucks because both Lashley and Rusev, I would love to be able to cheer those guys on and get hyped for them, but this angle, this storyline needs to go away. You need to put it like Will Smith and Bad Boys say, you need to put it in a little box, lock the box, and throw it into the middle of the ocean. That's where this storyline needs to go, because there's so much better you could be doing with all three individuals involved. So much better that we could be doing, and it's just so unfortunate that it doesn't seem like that's anywhere on the horizon. And it's painful to watch, painful to listen to, painful to be a part of. And I hate to read that Rusev was like, yeah, we're collaborating on this. It's something we're all doing. That doesn't mean people like it. And like, let's see where it goes. I mean, that's kind of the case because they're going to be on TV. And if you look at YouTube, look at what their viewership numbers are like, there's probably one of the highest watched segments week in and week out. But I cannot sit down and watch that crap. It just doesn't do it for me. And I never intend on having that be the case. I just can't get behind this content. So it is what it is. That was that match. And that brings us to the main event, where the Kabuki Warriors retain. Oh, Bobby Lashley and Rusev went for 13 minutes and 30 seconds. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, defeated Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Now, I wrote about this on Fansided last week, that I hoped that they were not going to put the belts on Lynch and Charlotte. They did not do that. So good job, WWE, on that point, because I knew they probably wanted to. So there's that. This match was a shit show, in my opinion, the best of way, in both good ways. I mean, yeah, everything about it wasn't great, but this match was ridiculous to me. It was as nuts as I knew it was going to be. When I look at it, I see people talking about, oh, well, they look off. They look like they're not hitting all their spots. In my opinion, I think that's what this type of match should be. It's a table, ladders, and chair match, a match that people aren't in every week, a match that people don't get to take part in, but maybe, twice a year. And these women are out here beating the shit out of each other. They're being reckless. They're trying to hit each other with everything that they possibly can. And that, in my opinion, gave life to their feud that they cannot stand each other. The two teams. I got that from this match. Now, when it comes to being reckless, There was some reckless ass shit here. Is being said mostly that Kerry Zane may have suffered a concussion at some point in time, which I hope is not the case because concussions can put you out. I mean, look what they did. Look what they did to Daniel Bryan. Excuse me. That changed his whole career. So I saw Tom. Goodness, I can't remember Tom's last name, but he writes for Fansided as well. And did he write for Forbes still? No, he writes for Fansided. I know that for a fact. But he was saying that he got reports that Kyrie was doing better in the morning, which was a couple hours ago today. But I mean, you could tell she was off. There was a point where she takes the power bomb through the table from Charlotte, and she's laying there not moving. Asuka comes over to try to talk to her, and she can barely, like, you can see her say something to Asuka in Japanese. Asuka basically has to pull her up and like get her over to the match and back into the match, but she was off the whole time, and you got to be worried about that outcome. But she took a hell of a bump. So she took a hell of a bump. And what else? I mean, Charlotte took a hell of a bump from the top rope to get powerbombed through the table on the outside. It looked like she hit her head hard too. I mean, she was selling it. And from the camera angle, you couldn't really truly tell, but just it's just a moment where you're just like, oh my God, like, is her head really cracked? Like, did she really hit her head? All you gotta do is hit your head one time. Say what you want about the match. If you've never grappled, done wrestling, judo, anything like that, if you fall, at one point in time and you don't, like, your head hits funny, that could be, it could definitely be bad. And it just looked so many different times where it's like, oh my God, people are getting hurt in this match, and there's nothing that can be done about it because they're going out there and they're putting on a show. These women tore it up to me. Some of the good spots, Asuka using the rope to pull the ladder over to make Becky fall. I think that was interesting. What were some other good spots? Charlotte, I mean, they were just beating the shit out of each other. All four women from start to finish. It looked like, I mean, it was basically almost like a street fight. Whatever you get your hands on, you can use. The commentary was okay. Jerry Lawler was fucking horrible, calling them Kabuki Warriors 1 and 2 because he can't tell them apart. That's an issue within its own right. Like, they need to do something about him and get him to fuck off of commentary, because like every week it seems to be something, and that right there was definitely it for me. Like, really, like, what is this dude doing? So there's that. Then let's talk about the finish. So Kyrie, she's on the outside of the ring. The ref's checking on her. She's clearly out of it. Asuka climbs up and unhooks the belts and wins the match. Before their music could hit, the next thing you see is Baron Corbin and a bunch of men brawling from the locker room through like the opening area near the entrance ramp. Probably like 10 men out there. There were the New Day, the Revival were out there, the OC were out there, the Viking Raiders, Dolph Ziggler was there, Baron Corbin, Roman Reigns. Like, that was really it that I remember seeing. But it ends with Roman Reigns spearing Baron Corbin, and they fly off of like a little stage area onto the top of guys, and the night ends. There was no shot back to the ring, and I don't know if that was because they were just checking on everybody and they didn't want to bring light to that again. You didn't hear the Kabuki Warriors music. The announcer stopped talking about them in totality. It was real unfortunate the way they cut away from the women like that. They have one match on the card. Yes, they had the most time. In my opinion, it's probably the most stakes in that one match because none of the singles titles were on the line here tonight. And they get cut away from like that. Now, Asuka, they continuously undercut her runs. Continuously. Time and time again. She's probably one of the best on the roster right now. I love her character. I love what they're doing with her. And I love what she's doing with this character. But how is it that this is what someone decided would be the right direction to go? This brawl could have happened. This brawl could have played a part in the Bobby Lashley Rusev angle, and that could have set something up for the finish there instead of having Lana do her thing. This brawl could have happened on Monday Night Raw. Would have never batted an eye at it. But the fact that it ended here, and it took away from this match in the finish, fucked it up for me. I'm not gonna say it ruined the main event, but it is a prevailing problem that they just don't. They can't win for trying. They can't get out of their own way. And this is another example of it. It's unfortunate. It's stupid that we gotta have this conversation every week. But they did not do the women any service by having this be the finish and having this be the last shot on the show. They didn't even give them an opportunity to. You barely saw Asuka unhook the belts and pull them down to her chest. You barely even saw that before they cut away, before you see Baron Corbin flying into the camera. It is what it is. You see what they're trying to force down our throats. And again, that's the continued issue. They're forcing certain things down our throats that people are like, we don't want to see this. They have so much talent on that roster. I'm sure they have so much talent backstage as well. And they're going to continue giving us what they want. I mean, this show, I don't even know if this show had a full card book before it was even, before the go-home shows. That shows you that they're throwing shit together for some of these shows and just not, and expecting us to take whatever they want to give us. Like I said, I watched the show late because I was at a performance beforehand. They're not far off from me totally skipping these pay-per-views. They're not far off. I may watch the 10-pole ones, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and that's it. Watch the takeovers, but they're dangerously close for me not watching this crap, and just because there's plenty of other stuff to talk about in professional wrestling, and that would give me much more time to cover that stuff rather than sit here and get forced to watch stuff like this that they just totally disrespect my time and some of the people on their roster with shit that people don't want to see. So most of the commentary coming out about TLC is that the show was bad. I think it started off well with the New Day and Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy, but it does go downhill from there. And there isn't much other than Bray Wyatt and The Miz, what they're trying to do there. There isn't much to take away from the show that makes you say, like, yeah, you know, this was great. I hope that Kairi Sane is okay. I hope she's not concussed. I hope she, like, you know, she gets back into the ring soon enough. But I always hope that she's healthy first, more than anything else. So, thank you all for listening to this content. As always, you can find me at rgarcia_sports. And that's where you can catch me on Twitter talking about professional wrestling, MMA, basketball, anything in between. You can also check out MMAratings.net where we talk about combat sports throughout the day. That's where all of our content goes up. You can check us there on Instagram and Twitter as well. MMA Ratings on YouTube where you can see this show and watch all of our content from there each and every week. And as always, please be sure to like and subscribe. I thank you for doing so. Continue to do so, and we got some big plans coming up for 2020. Again, thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Enjoy your week. Happy holidays as well, too.